hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of culture brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craft work that stands to build through any confrontation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly and uses his ears to filter the real. And as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian, he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt executed again and again and again. This is the Power Right Show on S.STREET Media. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home-sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God stepping in score, Sunya Zala, a.k.a. Skill Straight Low, and we're on S.STREET Media, the evolution of media, where every intrigue will have its own show, every incredible thought will have its own episode, and every timeless insight will be archived. And as I always say, this show is about my element of hip-hop, what I like to call the writer of art on art and science on music. The only show in history on the hip-hop writer element that I, a veteran of over a quarter century, helped pioneer. Because it wasn't calling that shit that. You know? Man, gotta salute again my intro, produced by Kevlar 7. Remembered in perfection, R.I.P. to my brother Kevlar 7. He's one of the founders of PremierHipHop.com, though. He's also the brother of Bronze Nazareth, one of the legendary wise men. He gave me this track for a show I would do. I said I need to do a show. He wasn't even alive when I started this. But I said I was going to do a show, and he gave me this track. He called it I Call My Brother Son. So I had to use it when it became available. All right? And because nothing leaked from off air, I can tell you that my book out now is on paperback, The Filtered Real Essays from the Invisible Renaissance, documenting the entire first decade of the 2010s, what I call the Invisible Renaissance, because he got out of the Dark Ages, and it's the best. I'll give no details on that because I have a new book. I have a new ebook now. This one's actually only an ebook. It's a 70-page analysis of the best works of 2020. Really analyzing it, and I basically made what I know to be, and all the work I've read, everything I've read of people analyzing records, and people give you this is my top 20 records. You think that's a lot though, but with to me at least 300 plus quality, good, decent, and great records came out last year. So who gives a shit about his top 20? We're just going to look through it and say, oh, he didn't put mine as high as it should be. He missed this one I like. But no one really learns anything. No one's looking at it like as a crate digger, as a collector. So what I did was I made a revolutionary new system of categorization where people have overlapping categories, but they also fit into major categories. And the one that I felt like talking about with them and featuring them was the one that I put them into, but they're all overlapping. You know what I mean? And so you can actually see a book, a piece of work, a journalistic work about 2020 or a time in hip hop, and actually see the entire universe of the music, and not just what I think is the best. Even though what I think is the best is most likely right, but it's okay. But the point is, I couldn't figure it out either, though. There's too many records, though. Why go in and try to rank? And then, people, my man L Ranker, right, Max Low, he be ranking like 300 records, but I tell him, who gives a shit between 250 and 240? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what? He said this was 240. I gotta go with this one first and spend my hard-earned money. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really. You gotta know. You just need to know two things. You want to see the whole universe, thoughts and ideas about the records, and then understand that person, me in this case, how I view the music. And then if you understand that, you can make your decision. Oh, Sunnis kind of likes this type of stuff, so I could go with this. And then you understand the whole universe. But that would said, you contact me, DM me on Sunya's IG, cash at me Sunya's $5 or any donation that you want. I get you that book to your email straight up. Other things, I just want to thank Napoleon the Legend, producer Akhenaten. They have an album out, Hole in My Heart, Part 1. Man, and to my guest that we'll talk about, it's not a big deal anymore, but it was a big deal to me to be on a song and actually see it on vinyl. You know, I never had that. You know what I mean? All these years, I've been writing about people for over 25 years, and some of the shit I said is on acetate. You know what I mean? So it was really fun to hold that and everything like that. And I got to be on a song with Napoleon and Sky Zoo. So there you go.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So I know I don't rhyme as good as them, but I made sure I said something of value, so that way I don't look like the pros of the clique right there on the song. You know what I mean? And just totally embarrass myself. But also too, go check out. You know, I want to give a shout out, of course, Peace to the God, Star Melala. Our last show, we had him for the Righteous Way book, the great trilogy he just finished with the new Infinity Edition. I had the honor of editing all 3 of those books, and I still think, and I do think that the new one is the best one. He's come as, you know, he's so many original thoughts, and it's one of those books you'll be reading again and again every at least 2 years, I think. You know what I mean? Also, check out the last show I did with my brother DJ Toshi, Classic Storm Radio. We interviewed the legendary Steele of Smith & Wesson. Another exclusive, because, you know, I don't ask the same shit. So we talked about a lot of things he's never been asked about. You know what I mean? He has a new album, America's Nightmare 3, and nobody's even asked him how was America's Nightmare 1 and 2. You know what I mean? So, you know, I be dunking, and there's just no defenders there. It's like Giannis, though. He won the MVP and not doing easy shit. Should have been Steph, but people are just going to say I'm light-skinned and short, so they're going to say I'm going for that. But it's the truth. But and one more note, because it's, you know, be listening to this episode, and then Sunday you'll be thinking like, hey, what does Sunias think about all this shit? Real quick thought before we get to our guest. The Grammys are this Sunday, and they actually have good records up for nominees. But don't get it twisted. I hear people saying that those artists sold out, and now that's commercial music, though. I never heard such stupid shit in my life. You know what I mean? The Grammys are doing something to try to get respect. They've been doing it with the other genres, black and brown genres, where they put quality records in their album of the year list. So if you look up Mexican albums, and, you know, probably my listenership is not listening to Mexican albums and ranchera and all that stuff, but they had some really quality ones. You look up R&B, the last couple of years, they'll have quality people like I don't know, you know, like Her or something like that. You know, records that everybody loves but nobody hears on the radio. You know, that kind of shit. That wonderful world, right? Where you win a Grammy and they don't play your shit on the radio. Because all the bullshit records are getting the Grammys for particular shitty songs. So that's the Grammy rule. Shitty song awards, quality album awards. So they're shifting that to hip-hop and bringing that into hip-hop. It's a real simple formula. That way they could have respect, though, and still make money. You know what I mean? Everything's a hustle, and I blame it on my guests now that coming up, that I'm looking at everything like a hustle. You know what I mean? And so let's go to our guest, though. You know what I mean? I've had the honor of building with my guest. I want to be have a unique build with him. I really would like you to see this not only as a continued archive of the builds that I have with him, that I have twice with DJ Toshi and Classic Storm Radio. And look him up. I don't know the exact numbers, you know what I mean? Because Toshi, we're on like almost 300. But if you get lost and you listen to somebody else's interview, that's okay too. You know what I mean? You buy 2 records, though. You know what I mean? But also as kind of an addendum to the few quality interviews that he has actually done recently, though, like with my brother, you know, the God at Chopping It Up, you know what I mean? That gives a good history, a recap history, because these questions I wouldn't ask my guest again because, you know, he already told me, But my guest now, I get to flaunt, I get to gloat, because I wrote that he was going to blow up. I wrote that he was going to be dope. You know what I mean? Like, it feels good, though. I feel like those guys, he's going to score 50 points a game one day. You know? I feel like Skip Bayless talking shit here. You know what I mean? And I said in my book, The Filtered Real, that Rome Streetz has the ability to really offer something unique. He has a lot of the gifts, and I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to go into detail as we go along and prove it. But I was right, and everybody else was wrong. And he's also in my 2020 book, of course, though, with his work, though. He had 3 great works: Contraband, Noise Candy 4, and I think it was the Residue EP, and that one actually was my favorite. You know what I mean? That actually was my favorite out of the 3, and that's hard to pick them. But my guess is Rome Streetz. I really would say one of the best MCs of this invisible Renaissance era, I call it, and one of the best. Period.
Yo, it's good.
Peace, almighty.
Peace, God. How you doing?
Everything is peace. Everything is peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are so many things I want to that we can build about. You know what I mean? And I laugh because there are certain trolls, on Twitter, and they say stuff and they cliche MCs. And some MCs, you gotta appreciate them for what they give you. Other MCs, you've got to listen a little bit deeper for what they really are giving you, and not be lazy. Okay, so you're being lazy. All right, you fucking trolls out there. Much. You know what I mean? But how have you been, Rome Streetz? Because I missed you the entire first year of this pandemic.
I'm good, man.
And
chilling. Happy to be here.
You said that you're
healthy.
You said that your recording has changed and everything like that. I never asked you. We're talking off air about books and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there's such a qualitative intensity. What I mean by that is that everything you're putting out is really songwriting. There's songwriting going on here. You know what I mean? There's deliberate techniques. We're gonna go through them. I'm gonna be sharing some highlights with the listener so you can see what I'm talking about. But these are real songs, and we've always talked about how you try to make real songs. You don't try to just throw shit out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how do you recharge yourself? You have to, writers, we have to go learn something. I do it by reading a lot of books. I'm blessed because I teach so many students, and I get to see so many people's new lives. You know what I mean? I hear about people's new lives. I have to learn about them. What do you do?
To recharge, I would say I take breaks, and when it comes to me making my own albums, as opposed to just rapping with other people, I only do it when I feel like it. As far as I only do it when the energy calls me to do it. You get what I'm saying? That voice in your head, when you're laying down in bed and something just tells you, yo, get up. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it is with rap. It's you know what? I'd have an idea, let's say, me and this guy's working on a project. He sent me beats, but I haven't started them yet. You know what I'm saying? And one day it's just you know what? I'm going to tap in right now. And I just listen, and then I just go from there. I don't do it out of necessity. I do it out of just want. You know what I'm saying? The energy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like making music right now, so this is how it is. Right. Well, I don't try to force it. And then another thing, I kind of approach every album differently. You get what I'm saying? I have a different approach. It may not be outright where everyone can see. It may be just I'll go here and write, or just you know what, I'll be doing this, or all the songs that I wrote for this album, I was doing this particular thing at this particular time. So that's where that energy came from. You know what I'm saying? So I just stay fresh because there's always a new approach to the next project. You get what I'm saying? It's always a new approach. It's always I don't know. I just always feel I just rap with a chip on my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't know me yet. So it's you know what? I got to keep going. It's not done.
Yeah, that chip on the shoulder is definitely an understatement when you rhyme, because I was thinking of ways to try to describe you, because this is what I do. I have to try to describe you, and it's not just the lyrical content; it's the intensity that you give out. You know what I mean? And I always noticed that. I've always written that. If you noticed, even when I see you live, you know what I mean? You're not yelling. You're not yelling through the mic, Run DMC style, but it's booming through the mic though. It always cuts over the track, even though you're in the pocket, because you're definitely in the pocket MC though. You know what I mean? You're not I don't know. I'm just making examples like Crime Apple. He rhymes 10 miles away from the pocket. You know what I mean? You can
Everybody
put
got
any
their
song
own
on
style,
it,
like,
you know?
I guess, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so people have their own styles, but you're always in the pocket, but it soars over, and it's got its own boom, like you know what I mean? The stylistic presence is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
What you mean.
And technically, it's that timbre that you have. You have like a specific timbre that goes over. You know what I mean? Where other MCs that are really good too, they have to work a little harder to get over certain breaks, certain drums and stuff like that. You don't seem to have that problem. But again, I'm just observing that. You know what I mean? But you know, I saw an interview. It's a while back though, but I saw an interview where you were talking about, and it was similar to my approach as a writer. It's so much neater now because I don't have. I only use Google Docs for everything, but I got a specific page where I just write loose things. You know, so like if people ask me for something, I got like a dope line that could start something, like something that sounds good, like. You know, because I write hip hop, so I'm not rhyming everything, but it has to sound dope. Like, it can't just be like he is a rapper, and you know, like it has to sound dope. It has
to be stylistic, like the words got to be colorful.
So I have like a little collection of like things I didn't use anywhere, and like that could kick it off. And I heard you use the term like you got these reserves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like, all right, yeah, I'm a rapper, but I'm a writer at the end of the day too. You get what I'm saying? I'm not just a person that. Because a rapper is someone who just raps on the beat. They may not even be a writer. You get what I'm saying? There's rappers that aren't writers. They're strictly performers, where someone writes their shit and they deliver it. They rap over the beat. That's a rapper. I'm a writer also. You get what I'm saying? Like, because my shit is more in depth. So it's like sometimes I just be thinking of dope shit to write. It may not be in the format of, okay, this is how the rhyme started. It may just be a line. I may just be watching something and I mean, I come up with a line off of what I just saw. You know what I mean? I probably don't feel like writing a whole fucking song, but hey, this shit was dope. Let me just store that shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a thought. This whole shit is just a collection of thoughts that you recorded. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. And then, you know what I'm saying? All my shit comes from a prior experience. I remember like before when it was just always like a pen and a pad. I may be outside. Sometimes I don't always have the pen. I don't always have the pad. So it's like, shit, I may think of some fly shit, but damn, I don't have nowhere to write it. And it just disappears by the time I get home. I smoke a blunt and then I just forget about it. And it's like, oh, what's that shit I said? Poof, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, the phone, I think of shit, boo, 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 I write it down. So it's like, when I'm writing a rhyme, like let's say you hear like, yo, Rome, write a rhyme right now. Off a dead thought, it's like, okay, I'll start a rhyme with just one of those lines that I had saved. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
and it could trigger.
Yeah, and it just triggers from there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always ready. It's just like it's ammo.
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to highlight that because I think it's such a great writing technique. You know what I mean? You never feel like stale. You know, and people get into writer's block because they don't know what they have. You know what I mean? And it happens with all things, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it happens with all things, but it's such a great concept because you always seem to have unique lines in all the songs, man. We're gonna go through this latest project on some of these bars because I don't know. I feel like people just like the beat and everything like that.
Oh, yo, one thing, right? I wanted to say that please. Said that I never got to add on to when you was like, just like when I'm on the mic, how like I have that presence because like I told you back when I used to live in London and shit, like the whole thing was like their whole culture was like real two turntables and a mic and then rapping. So like that's what we used to do after school, you know what I'm saying? So I had like a little crew. And then we used to go around and battle motherfuckers. This was before I was even recording songs, you get what I'm saying? So you kind of had to have a presence on the mic to like stand out because it's me and my 3 other homies and we going against these other 4 niggas and it's like, okay, how they gonna know who won? It's more so just like who is like whoever get the mic, who is the most dynamic, like who gets the most attention, like how do you get the most attention? Just by sounding ferocious, you know what I'm saying? So that was like I was doing that before I was recording, before I was like writing songs. It was just verses, get on the mic and just slide, you get what I'm saying? So now that shit was like 20 years ago. I was a fucking teenager and shit. So it's like, man, I got that in me.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You know, I want to go into some other concepts and stuff, but I want to take a moment though because, you know, to me it was a big deal. It was someone I covered all these years and worked to try to cover. That's why I called it the Dark Ages, those 2000s, because I had to work to try and failed most of the time because they didn't want to cover them. But
What you talking about?
Yeah, but you know, with the passing of MF Doom returning to the essence and stuff, you know what I mean? And he was definitely an inspiration. I just want to note that.
Yeah, man.
You know, I'm just noting that because people don't, you know what I mean?
Doom is a big inspiration.
You know, and I just want to throw this out to you though, see what you think about this, you know what I mean? Because in the categorizing of stuff, and I told you with my book, I was trying to categorize, they overlap. I don't cliche someone say, he's a this guy, he's a that guy. No, they overlap, you know what I mean? And so like I'll have Rome Streetz, he'll be in the crime rhyme MCs, but he'll be in a lot of other categories too, you know what I mean? And I really think that Doom related to so many because people go, oh look, some people would dismiss him and say, oh, he wasn't street enough and this and that, but he talked about a lot of stuff that you only know if you're in the street.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of the illest rhymes like that I ever heard was by MF Doom, and he was saying some real like jail shit, but you wouldn't know that he's talking about that unless you've been in that type of life. You get what I'm saying? Where people just throw him off as a nerd rapper. Like he's put some of the illest jail bars together. He was like, what he say? I wrote this one in BCDCO section. If you don't believe me, go get bagged and checked in. Son number 17 up under the top bunk. I say this not to be me, which bad like a pop drunk. Pop the trunk on C Cypherpunk, leave him left skirt. Like that whole shit was crazy. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, but I know that because like I've been locked up, and it's like, yo, you see names, you know what I'm saying? You probably wrote your name on some shit. You get what I'm saying? Like it's it's there for real.
Yeah,
you know
and that's
like,
what I'm saying. And like people are in tune, and they don't have to always have been talking about killing or doing this or doing that, but they could have been in tune. You know what I mean? And even he had the ability to be even more comedic with it because he even had lines that you wouldn't know unless you know about that, like beef rap.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like a cool milk from out the toilet.
You had to know. You had to be there to know that the milk be in the toilet to keep it cold. Like,
that makes no sense to anybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's being pitched like, you know, and they have the Adult Swim characters rapping it, and it sounds funny.
2 batteries, some Brillo, and some foil here. Boil it. If you don't understand what that's about, you would just think he just putting 2 random things together, like a battery, Brillo, like what? But
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to bring that up though because it's like this legacy of great MCs inspiring each other, and I always wanted to note that with you. You know what I mean? Also, another thing I wanted to throw at you about this whole relationship between the listener and the MC today. You know what I mean? Especially when the listener has a life that the MC has a life that the listener mostly doesn't have. You know, and you have one that the listener is not really stepping into. You know, they didn't all do the street shit that you did. They most likely, you know, we could say logically a majority, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of MCs that are on that wavelength, or that's what they're going to talk about, it's this relationship where they also treat the music the way they sell it, the way they rap it, whereas they're a dealer, and that listener is a custody as well. And some of it is great, like, you know, I'm not dissing that vibe because Rock Marciano does that all the time though. You know, he's just really looking down at all of us though when he raps. You know what I mean? He's on the mountain though.
Like Rock Marciano, like he raps from a snobbish perspective, like with his clothes up, like, you know what I mean? I fuck with Rock, bro. He's dope as shit. Exactly.
You know what I mean? But there's like I wanted to make that note because when I listen to you, right, I always get that balance where you at times you are talking down viciously. But a lot of the times, though, you're actually talking to us, and a lot of listeners don't notice that. You know, it's more like you're holding her and saying, listen, son, this is the way it fucking is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people don't catch that. And they try to cliche you as, like, not saying stuff.
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't, but you know what it is, though? Like, I just remember, like, back in the day, like, before all this shit, right? Like, one thing that used to, like Jay-Z's like a dope ass motherfucker to me. like one of my favorite rappers, for one reason, right? Is because he says a lot of shit. Like, I remember back when I was younger, I'd listen to some whole shit, and I'd listen to a song all the time, and then like a year later, I catch a line like, oh shit, that's what the fuck he was talking about. Like, I used to catch his shit like miles later, you know what I'm saying? But that used to be always dope to me, like how shit could fly over your head, you get what I'm saying? Right. So as a writer, it was like, yo, I want to write rhymes like that. Like, I don't want you to fucking get everything I said right away. Like, if you catch it, you catch it, but I write to fly it over your head, so you have to listen to it a bunch of times, you know what I'm saying? So you get it. So I have that, like me as a rapper, I wanted to give the listener the same effect that my favorite rappers gave me when I heard they shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's like Jay-Z was dope because shit would fly over my head. Nas was dope because he would just put the words together so ill and it would fly over my head. Like, I literally had to hear shit and then like figure out what the fuck they were talking about. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't surface level shit. You had to kind of dig to find the jewel in what he was trying to tell you if you didn't immediately know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, with me, I want to do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I want you to dig. I kind of want to be one of those MCs that's kind of cryptic, where it's like, it's not for everybody. It's high science. You get what I'm saying? You have to actually know what the fuck I'm talking about to get it, but it's easy to grasp. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I wanted, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of have that complexity with my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's ill as a person who consumes rap.
I definitely see that, because you use the word that I always describe the way I'm writing or trying to write, and you use the word, you write concentrated.
Yeah,
you know?
hell yeah.
Because I always say, and you know, my producer knows, I always explain the way I write. I try to write like that glumpy orange juice that you get out the can.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot in that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You have to hit it out.
Yeah,
though, you know,
drinking this shit getting stuck in your teeth. Like, damn, there's a lot in this motherfucker.
But that flavor's gonna be in there.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah.
I don't know if it's healthy, but yeah.
There's people out there that appreciate that type of shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I'm a person that appreciates a dope ass pen when it comes to rapping. So it's like, as a rapper, I wanna give that to you. I want to try my best to convey that to the audience. You know what I'm saying? Because there's somebody out there that appreciates that lyrical shit. But it's like, it's not, because there's motherfuckers that are overly lyrical. It's like too lyrical with the shit. It's the lyrical miracle shit.
Right.
But it's a balance where it's easy to digest, but it's deep at the same time. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I want to come across to my
definitely
shit.
Like the most difficult combination to have. So that's why I think people quit, because they can't do it like that. You know what I mean? And you know, I want to read some portions of what I wrote for you in my new book, about you in my new book. And I said this, right? And just some small parts, though. I said, Noise Candy 4 no longer plays like throw-out bars. Now it's because, you know, you kind of talked about them like you don't just throw them out. But a level of song that only Rome can differentiate by the manner in which he creates them. The Residue EP was the most intense short spurt of MCing of the year. That's how I felt. While Contraband reunites him with Farmer Beats tracks that go even heavier into the street crack hustler world. No one rolls us squares through the streets like Rome, you know? The portrait details of tracks is laced are typical, and that type of ability isn't typical of nearly anyone. See, a lot of people don't catch what I meant there, you know what I mean? On the surface, it's typical, and I think that's why a lot of listeners, when they get mad, they didn't get it the first 3 listens. And they're like, I thought you said he was deep, and I'm not getting it, you know what I mean? And that's why you gotta hold certain stuff. You gotta listen to it, though. You know what I mean? These beats are good enough. You could listen to them 5, 6, 10 times. But I said this. I said, I'm the god out there in the streets, right? I've learned nothing about making crack from Rome's records. What you get are the Art of War Chapter 13 maneuvers and ruthless business affairs. The rules broken, the codes to keep, and all the hell that makes all of it better if he just makes these incredible songs. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I've been trying to say, you know what I mean? People are looking, a lot of MCs now that have dealt with harsh living, though, they try to give an exorbitant amount of details. You know, like the I don't know, the little crack in the Pyrex pot, like everything is the details, whereas you're kind of giving like the principles, the ideals, and you know, I think that's what separates you. You know what I mean? And in this new record, but we're going to talk about in detail with DJ Muggs, I think you really captured that perfectly. You know what I mean? That's why I don't understand people saying that there was no jewels on it, because whole choruses are actually mantras.
It's a whole, you know what it is? It's like when people say that, I feel like, all right, put it like this, like that troll the other day, I feel like that's someone that I know. You know what I'm saying? Just like trying to get
Twitter, right?
trying to get under my skin just because. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can listen to my shit and actually like hear that I'm not literally just giving you that surface level shit. And then when it comes to just like drug rap or street rap, it's like no ideas originals, nothing new under the sun. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. You get what I'm saying? I'm just telling you this shit from, I'm just giving you my life experience. You get what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, like, I have a lot of experience in that field, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just my life, you get what I'm saying? Like, and even a song like Laced, you get what I'm saying? That's a real story. Like, that's a person that I know, that I've seen go through that with my own two eyes, you get what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to wow you with like the intricacies on that particular one. This is just like an in-your-face thing. It's something that I see every day, you get what I'm saying? It was more so like that, you get what I'm saying? And like for those three releases for 2020, like Residue was dope because I made that in an environment that I never was in. You get what I'm saying? Like, I wrote those rhymes in California and on the plane. You get what I'm saying? And we was like locked in the crib during quarantine. Like, I was gonna call that shit quarantine, but it's like, oh, that's
that
fucking cliche.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
but during that time, it's just like me documenting, like, okay, we locked in the motherfucking house. Like, and I'm in an unfamiliar state that I've never been in before. You know what I'm saying? I came out here to do some shit, but I didn't end up doing it. And like, everything seems so uncertain right now in the world. So just like, you know, I'm gonna just rap, you know what I'm saying, do what I do best.
Right.
So that was just that, you know what I'm saying, like, that's
well,
just,
let me ask you though,
just that outburst.
Just straight up though, because your whole catalog is so intense. So I got a Barbara Walters right now. Where do you get this intensity from? Where is all this intensity, and how do you keep generating it?
It really comes from seeing my journey, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know, not to say, I always say this, but like, I've been through a lot of shit to get to this point. You get what I'm saying? So now that I actually have an audience, it's like, shit, like, here you go. Like, I was doing this shit this intense with no audience. So now that I have the audience, now I'm actually gonna show, like, now I'm energized. You get what I'm saying? So it's just the audience keeps growing. So it's like, that's what motivates me to keep going, because I remember when it was nothing. Like, it was literally nothing, to the point where it was just like, yo, I can't be this good at this shit for no reason. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt. So it's like, now that I have motherfuckers tapped in, it's like, yo, I got you. I ain't gonna burn out. And even if I do feel like I'm burnt out, I'm just gonna come back when I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, even with this music, like, my whole philosophy is I gotta stay ahead of myself. You get what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I just dropped this album. Instead of this being all that I have, like, my whole music stash is done. This is everything that I have musically is out. I have nothing that no one's ever heard before, right? Now it's like more pressure to come up with the next thing. It's like, damn, what do I do next? Everybody's like, yo, this last shit is fire. Like, what do I do next? My next shit was done before I even finished this.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, I see that. You can't let those reserves empty out, right?
Nah, yo, I put like this. I was making this Muggs album the same time I made Noise Candy 4. The same time I was making Residue. And the songs for Contraband was done, half of Contraband was done before all of that.
How do you know what's going with what, though? You know, we know because what might be going with Muggs because it's his beats.
Yeah, it's only Muggs beats, but it's like, for Noise Candy, it's just, Noise Candy is just literally a burst of energy. You get what I'm saying? There's no like literal theme that ties all the songs together under a title. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, this beat is fire. this what I'm gonna do to this beat. I'm gonna splash on this beat. The only thing about Noise Candy is like I have a little formula when it comes to putting projects together. So like the song, I have a little thing that I do where I know what song goes after which. You know what I'm saying? To create a project. Yeah, like my sequencing has a formula. So that's how I put it together. But it's more so just like a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like the mug shit, all the beats is mug shit. Okay, boom. So I have like, then I just have an archive of songs. I'm just making songs consistently. And it's like, you know what, this, I'm going to put this here, or I'm going to put this there. You get what I'm saying? So I can do multiple things at a time, but it's never like, okay, this song's for Noise Candy. Like, if I'm working on music for this day, then this is the product. Everything I do for this day is going on this project. I don't really like to work on 3 projects in one day, because then it's the same train of thought that's going on all 3 projects. So then it's like, damn, all this shit sounds the same. You get what I'm saying? Like,
there is some separation.
Yeah, there's a separation. Like the time period may be the same when I'm working on it, but it's never like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a Noise Candy song, then I'm gonna do a Mug song. You know what I mean? Unless they're all written already. I'm not just gonna write. You know what I mean? I like to concentrate my thoughts on one thing and never like let them overlap.
Definitely see that. Let's talk about this album. I gotta preface and say this though, and I'm doing a lot of dismissing of people's dumb ideas. You know what I mean? That way we could get the right context. This isn't Muggs all of a sudden making good beats again. I don't know where people got that shit from. I didn't hear, honestly, all these. Muggs is really the only legendary producer that we can say that has made a massive amount of albums with this new era. Other people have made songs and stuff like that, but a lot of albums, and I have all of them. They're all good. If the discerning element, the variable is always going to be the MC. You know what I mean? If you don't care for the MC, then that's really what you don't like about the album. That's keeping it real. That's like, what it is.
Let me say one thing. When people be like, oh, when they hear an album, be like, oh, the producer beats a whack. It's not like, listen, every rapper has a choice. It's not the producer. It's the rapper's beat selection. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's say me and rapper A make an album with producer B, right? You like my album, but you don't like the other album because you don't like the beats. Guess what? That other rapper could have chose those same fucking beats that I chose. He just didn't choose. He chose to rap over that. It don't be about the producer. We don't be like, Muggs finally made good beats on your album. No. It just be the rapper chose beats that you don't like. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's like, for instance, right? And I'm not even gonna get too specific, right?
Sure.
Muggs is putting out another album with another rapper, right? I'm on one of the songs. One of the beats is from like years ago. You get what I'm saying? So it's really all about what the rapper chooses. Muggs always got crack beats. He always has he has thousands of beats that you could choose from, or you could tell him to make some shit.
Right. You give him,
explain
what wave you're looking for, right?
But that's with anyone, though. You get what I'm saying? That's what I was explaining earlier today, too. It's like, if we working on a project, I don't want to, like, if you a producer and I'm a rapper and we working on a project, I don't mind you sending me beats that you just cooked and just had, but we gonna cook for real. Like, you gonna make some beats for me for this project, like, from the ground up. Because guess what? Imagine if I came to the studio with a book full of rhymes that I wrote in 2002 to put on this album. You would feel a certain type of way, right? Okay, then. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. When you reverse it though, it sounds so
real
black.
shit.
Yeah.
Real shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, Muggs is fire, bro. Trust me.
You had talked about how you met Muggs, through, just industry, meeting people and things like that, you know what I mean? But the development of the Death and the Magician and the whole tarot card use thing, right? You explain. I heard you explain this really intrigues you, this idea and stuff like that, and how to how they use them and things like that. And I found this contrast, right? Because I was just thinking, every Rome Street's career theme is, I'm gonna get my shit my way, and no one's stepping in my fucking path, and I'm gonna make a path. But then he does an album called Death and the Magician, and these fucking cards are being handed out, and guys are dying by fate with the card. It's like almost the opposite of what you know what I'm saying? Like nobody caught that, but I was like, wait a minute though, because I was thinking about this watching the film, the you know, and then the guy dies of the car accident when he gets the card, and he's dissing the whole thing. He's dismissing it in the movie clip that was used, because he used a lot of movie samples in the Death of Magician film, mixed in with videos of Rome Streetz and all the great songs in the album. And I was like, wait a minute. If Rome Streetz was given a fucking tarot card, he said, you got till sundown, God, you'd be like, nah, some bullshit. Yeah. You know, I only, and you get it to your floor, I only care about it. Yeah, you know, this is my Rome Streetz imitation. I'm working on it though.
Yo, but you want to know some dope shit, right, about this album is that most of the album was made without any concept in mind, without any, I didn't know what the fuck the album was going to be called. I didn't know what direction I was going in. I was just making songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, the name for the shit, all that shit came last. You get what I'm saying? Like,
it's like a packaging.
Like, put like this. I did it, like, we put the album together, and then, like, I don't know, like, when we was trying to figure out what it was going to be called, you get what I'm saying? It was just like that, the whole tarot theme like came last, bro. Like that wasn't even, I didn't start the album with that in mind. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like once we had that, that's when I did the Wheel of Fortune song. You get what I'm saying? And then that's when I probably like maybe threw a couple, you know what I'm saying, like references in the bars and shit, but majority of the album was done before I had any type of idea what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? I was just like killing beats, like, you know what I'm saying? Let me just, Mug sending me shit, let me just attack these shits in a way that I never did before. You know what I'm saying? Let me just talk about shit that I haven't said before. Let me, maybe even if I do talk about the same content, let me like approach it from a different angle with a different thought. You get what I'm saying? Like, but I always knew that this album was gonna be like, I know I had to make it something like dynamic. You get what I'm saying? So the whole tarot thing came because like I agreed with it, because it was like the whole shit with me and Muggs was just mad like cosmic in a way where, like, let's say we talking about him right now, I get a text, it's Muggs, like, you know what I'm saying? Or just like wild random shit, you know what I'm saying? And like just me, like I always was just, like I said, like I follow this guy who does tarot cards. Like, he draws like these ill ass images. Like, I'm into like just images of skulls and shit. Like, cause like when I really do research, like, I'm a Scorpio, so like a lot of like the things that we like is like real dark shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I always find myself drawn to like pictures of fucking skeletons and just ill shit
working
like that.
With Muggs is like ideal. Yeah,
exactly. So like I followed this guy who draws like these ill ass tarot cards, like, and I seen him do an image and it wasn't a tarot, it was just like a fucking skeleton just doing some funny shit. I'm like, oh, this shit is hard. So I just followed him. You get what I'm saying? So then when I actually got to Muggs' studio, finally, when I went to LA, this was in like August. I started the album in January. Once I got to Muggs' studio, I probably had like 13 songs done already. You know what I'm saying? And then we did more. So when I got there, we just chilling, and then like he had the pack of the tarot cards. I'm like, oh, should I follow this guy? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking through the.
Wait, he happened to have the pack of the tarot cards
of the guy that I follow.
Intrigued with following.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, oh, I follow this dude. He's like, oh, he's the man. I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy. In my mind, I'm like, yo, he gotta draw the album cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, I wonder if we can get him to like draw the fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, we'll see. But then I'm just looking at these cards. I'm like, yo, it would be ill, because I had like a thought in my head like a while ago, like, you know, maybe if I did an album where that kind of incorporated that shit in some type of fly ass way, that would be dope. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't approach this Muggs album with that in mind. But then, like, somehow, I can't even tell you exactly how this shit came about. I think we was just going off, like, the names.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up with names. Like, the original name I have for this album was called The Beautiful Writer Who Killed. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
I had that idea about like, because there's this guy, he's from Japan or whatever. He's a writer, and like he wrote this book about he wrote this book. It's supposed to be a fictitious novel, but he was talking about these murders that happened in Japan, and like he used certain details in it that only a person who was there knew, and the crime was kind of unsolved. So I guess like the book got big, and then they arrested him because it's like, how the fuck do you know that?
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like he was gonna write a sequel to the book about like his life, called The Beautiful Writer Who Killed. You get what I'm saying? But he ended up dying, and he never put the book out. You know what I'm saying? He went to jail and shit. They was going to give him life in jail and shit.
Right.
And then he died.
Wow.
But his sequel was going to be called The Beautiful Writer Who Killed, about the fact that he killed these motherfuckers, got away with it, and then he got caught because he wrote the book. You know what I'm saying? But the book never came out. So I was going to be like, you know what? Let me call my album The Beautiful Writer Who Killed, because this is like, because niggas like, yo, Rome, you be killing shit, son. It's like, but the way you write is dope. So it's like, we went back and forth. He's like, yo, what about Death and the Magician? I'm like, sounds dope. And then when we really broke it down, was like, you know what, the meaning of that shit is really, really deep. You
right, because there's an explanation you can look up if you go to the Soul Assassins website, like how that fits in and everything. And it really makes a lot of sense.
And it ties in because my star sign, like I'm a Scorpio. If like you relate that to a tarot card, it's the death card. You get what I'm saying? Like the end of something and the start of something new. You get what I'm saying? So it all coincided. And a magician is like someone or a thing that allows you to amplify your talents to become successful. You get what I'm saying? And Muggs, he's the magician because he has the platform. He's making the beats. He's giving me the platform to amplify my talents to reach more success. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know, on that, we're going to segue to songs here and ideas and lyrics and stuff. But, you know, I've always found it interesting. I personally find all of these Muggs albums intriguing in some way or the other that he's been doing with all these people. Even with the MCs I don't really care for. You know what I mean? They're all good listens. And the fact that I don't care for all the MCs says something about what he's doing with them. But I always found this the case, especially once he started to do this, though. And this is all the way back. I could always go back to Planet Asia's. You know what I mean? I don't count Jizza because, you know, you could just tap on the wall and Jizza would make a good song. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't need help. But I feel like Muggs has such an easy way. It seems easy the way you're describing it, but he has some kind of way of really augmenting what an MC is about. So like, if they were almost at a certain peak, they end up reaching that peak. And I always felt that way with Planet Asia. I always felt that God, like, once he ripped through those, I mean, there's no turning back. If you really look at his career, it's got really good battle bars and everything. But after that, he's just lights out. And then this, you know, the last 10 years, he's been fucking lights out. You know
one thing about Muggs that I could say that he did with me was like take for instance whatever song you probably think is the best on that album. When I did it, he was like, yo, this is fire. He was like, yo, what do you think that you could do to add to this right here? Even if you don't do it, like what else? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then with him, it was more so like he's a legend, so I'm trying to do shit to impress him. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to, you get what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, this is like playing with like a, you know,
like I'm
on the All-Star game.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's like you probably hear a lot of the MCs reach that level because it's like we looking up to Muggs like shit, like fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't drop the ball here. I could have dropped the ball back there when nobody was listening, but shit, this is showtime. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Choke on this one.
Yeah, this is, if anything I ever done up to this point was like, this is the biggest shit. You know what I'm saying? This is showtime right here. So, all your preparation, this is your opportunity. That's how I looked at this shit. Regardless if I had other opportunities, like the West Side Gun shit was like everything I did up until that point, this is the biggest thing. So all that is preparation. This is the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So like this Muggs was shit was like all that was preparation. This is the opportunity. You You get what I'm saying? Because I started the mug shit before I even got the West Side Gun shit. You get what I'm saying? So it was like,
they were overlapping these
yeah,
opportunities.
but it was like, you know what? I gotta show and prove because now I'm getting put in these places. You get what I'm saying? Like, before I wanted to be here, and it was like, yo, I bust my ass to get here, and if I just got this one shot, I'm gonna knock it out the fucking park. Okay, well, here you go. Show and prove. You get what I'm saying? That's all it is. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I get put in this position. Was like, yo, you talked all that shit. You know what I mean? Here you go. The light is on. So that's all that shit is. It's like, you gonna bring the best. If this legendary motherfucker does not bring the best out of you, coming from like a underground unknown, then what are you doing it for? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't jump out the gym on this shit,
right?
Ain't no point jumping out the gym on Joe Schmo shit. It don't make no sense.
Exactly.
You better jump as high as you can here because this is the springboard. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And man, that's what you did here. You know what I mean? Like you didn't choke. That's for damn sure. You know what I mean? This is a ridiculous record. You know what I mean? And there's so many lines. There's so many insights. You know what I mean? And you know, again, people are always thinking like they're not getting the deeper rhymes and stuff. And it's like sometimes they come first on the bars. You know, the first song, Prayers Over Packages, there's a video for that, and that starts off real heavy. That doesn't start off light, because I don't know about most people that listen, but when you go, you know, what get you killed fast, you know, then Too Much Love, Trust and Truth, what's the difference between Malcolm Martin and Huey Newton? You know, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, and then I have to rewind because I missed the whole shit.
Because, like I said, that particular line, I said that, it's like, because people always say, you know what I'm saying, the truth will get you killed. Showing like love could get you killed. You know what I'm saying? Trusting the wrong person could get you killed. So what could get you killed faster? And when you look at Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, or Huey P. Newton, all of them died in that same way. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Martin Luther King, he's, you know what I mean, nonviolence, too much love. You get what I'm saying? Malcolm X, that's truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then even Huey P., how he died, drug deal. He probably trusts the wrong person, or you know what I'm saying? Too much love, trust, the truth will get you killed faster. All those, each one of those people is a situation of that. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, and that's just all some motherfuckers think, oh, you rap about the drugs. It's like, with me, all right, one thing
that's the first line of the album.
Exactly. And then with me, when it comes to like the way I write rhymes, I may not make a whole song about one thing. Each bar is about something. You get what I'm saying? Right. I'm more like,
it's got a stream of consciousness.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about a lot of different shit that has multiple.
Yeah. And look, I was going further, and some of this is really to show appreciation, to show the listener. Like, some of this stuff is just really woven. The syllable structure you use, everything is so woven. Smooth as criminal with lucid moves, in tune with street scholars and goons, Haile Selassie, art and crackpot fumes. I mean, that's the tough stuff. There's nothing really to say there. That's just
But that goes back to the motherfuckers like, yo, all you rap about is this. Like, yo, bro, I'm in tune with all of that shit.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? But like,
you know, and it's funny because this is what I work to document. You know, and a lot of people like this. You know, I get mostly as a journalist is like, yeah, you know, Sunnis is always hating. You know, oh, if he likes it, oh, that's crazy. But I'm the guy that chronicles this line. You copying the style of a nigga who made a style off of stolen shit. That's my job. That's that's my job though. I'm like I have to sift. That's why I called the book The Filtered Real, because I have to filter through shit. If you filtered the real, that means that the real is coming out of shit. You know what I mean? And I had to go through shit, and I had to go through, wait, is he copying or is he developing off his heroes? You know what I mean? Because there's a difference. You know what I mean? Some people sound like the heroes and things like that, and you got to, okay, let him develop, he's young. Some people are biting, you know what I mean? Some people are biting, and some people are disingenuous, and hip-hop is not like another music. You know, Luther could have sang about love and not gave a shit about love. All the bachata records, those guys could be ruthless, and never cry for a woman. You know what I mean? They don't care. But the hip hop is saying something, and it means something when you're taking on that first person persona. But I just had to mention that. But this song is crazy. The Supreme Soloist and the polo fit. Oh y'all know.
Y'all already knowing it. That's Ayak right there. Yeah. That's a whole shout out to. I mean, that's just like the shit where you would have to know what I'm talking about. Like Supreme Soloist in the polo fit. Oh, y'all already knowing it. Like Ayak is a polo crew. But then I said their acronym after I said the polo fit. So it's like niggas who is Ayak gonna be like, oh shit. But if you're not, it's just frivolous bars. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the thing is, if you don't know Ayak, that shit still sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good. It's still right in the pocket. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean?
But that's like, it's multiple layers. There's multiple things going on at the time where I'm throwing these rhymes out. You know what I'm saying?
And literally, I'm just going through these because there's so much depth in them. Ace of Swords. I mean, all these songs are top notch. There's no weak songs. Each day you can have a different favorite. You know what I mean? But again, for me, Rome, a lot of the things you say, like I said, I didn't do the crack thing. When I went into the streets, I knew what crime was, and I was going in there to find the culture. And I found hip hop. That's what I looked for, and I got the knowledge itself. You know, a lot of people don't know the street life that you live isn't always crime.
Nah, it's not.
There's a lot of things in the street that are only in the street.
Yeah,
I had a college degree, and while I was getting it, though, I knew that there was things in there that I had to go get. Learning about this culture, getting the knowledge itself. I had to go get that shit. You know what I mean?
Because even like, not to cut you off, like living in New York, you could live in New York and not be like on some street gangster shit, but you know that you live in a historical place. You won't actually feel that fucking real New York historical shit unless you actually go outside and take part in some type of element of the street environment. You get what I'm saying? Like, you won't see that side of New York that is that real side of New York unless you step outside. If you live that square life, not saying there's nothing wrong with it, like, you know, you're born, your parents tell you go to school, after you go to school you come home, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to school, you know what I'm saying? Like, you live that straight path. You won't know that you live in New York City. You get what I'm saying? Like, you won't know the city that we know. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to like jump off the porch to actually appreciate living in New York City and know, like, you won't know hip hop for real unless you actually outside in the street. You know what I'm saying? From that perspective.
Yeah, and I think that becomes very vivid what you're saying to me, because a lot of us that were raised that way, great at school, obviously I'm a writer, so you know I was good at writing.
And you don't have to be a fucking criminal or crook.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You don't.
Right. And the thing, you know, for the listener, a lot of the negativity about the square is that the square himself is being hustled. Yeah. And that's something that I learned. Like, I'm being hustled by these corporations that, you know, I'm being hustled right as we speak. And so there's a different mindset. You don't know that you're in some type of matrix.
Coming from the street, you need, like, being a person from the street and, you know what I'm saying, like, having to capitalize off of that, like, you need a mark. You need that mark.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that's what I said that shit in a rhyme I wrote yesterday. Like, unfortunately, like, the street, whether you a drug dealer, whether you a stick up, whether you a con man, a finesser, you need a mark. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of come up off of someone else's ignorance. You and someone's lack of not knowing something is someone else's come up. So when you in the street, like, that's your bread and butter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you know, had some great lines in the same song. Fake friends is worse than 5 enemies. It'd be the ones you feed in meals. It's just crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm, as you already know, I always notice all the respect fake bars. You know what I mean? But right. But these, you know, I'm intrigued because the thing about your music, Rome, is that you can say so many deep mantra-like things. Like, you could say these things like your daily life. Like, you lift weights and shit and be like, you gotta get the, you know, like, you gotta get the, you know, and money could just be like the goal. Like, you gotta lift the weight and you can shift the word. And it's never didactic, you know, it's never preachy, it's never coming across, you know what I mean? But you, Bubble, don't think everybody love you, do what you do, but always keep your money. Somebody else says that, it could sound corny. Rome Street says it, though, it sounds like, yeah. And as we see a lot of times, though, they don't even register, you know what I mean? They never gonna give. You gotta take it, slime, rise up, you know what I mean?
Wise up.
Right, wise up. These are mantras here.
Yeah, cause it's just things that I like experienced in my life, and then like one thing, like even when I was making Joyeria, it was more so just like, yo, when I was a kid and shit, you know what I'm saying, I didn't grow up with my father, and my mom was always at work. You get what I'm saying? So unfortunately, like, I learned a lot of shit from listening to rap, from watching TV, or from going through it. You get what I'm saying? I never really had no fucking role model or an older male figure to be like, yo, this is this. Don't do, you know what I'm saying? So it was like,
right.
I learned a lot of shit from hip hop. You get what I'm saying? I learned a lot of shit just from observing. So it was like, shit, how can I be that artist for someone like me? You know what I'm saying? There's a kid out there that was just like me as a kid. You understand what I'm saying? That just had to figure it out on their own, but listening to hip hop was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Certain rappers that drop a lot of jewels that you could take with you in your everyday life. So it's like, now that I'm in that position, I want to be that for someone. Like, even if I don't particularly know that person, I know that I'm putting this music out there in the atmosphere as someone who was going through the shit that I was going through and then needed that music to get there. It's like, you know what? I'm trying to be that person. So it's like, that's why I just throw that shit in there. Cause like,
definitely
I'm talking to my younger self.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely achieved.
And then also, not to cut you off, was like, that was always something that I wanted to do as far as like being a rapper. Like, damn, like I want to just be able to say a lot of insightful shit. You know what I'm saying? I listen to shit, it's like, yo, damn, son, that line was just like, the fuck, that shit stood out. That was something that I can live with forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to rap like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was just like, you know what I'm saying? Every album I'm coming into that more like trying to, cause that's how I want to be as a rapper. If I could be described as anything, like, yo, that rapper who got insight, he's nice, he could say some street shit.
Right.
So I mean, so
you know,
that's why I do that.
I want to switch gears to just the technical aspects. You know what I mean? And the way you rhyme, and I'm using manuscript as an example. You have, you know, we could count it as a DNA, I guess, you know, maybe the Jamaican toasting DNA and shit. But there's like what I call, you have a melodic swoon when you rap. You know what I mean? It doesn't, you know, there's a groove, but it's like a swoon. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when you start manuscript, you did it with that first, you know, those first two lines. Need it all and I ain't taking no less when outside it, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It has this swoon to it, though, and you constantly do that. And it's just, it's really rhythmic. The whole chorus is done like that. You know what I mean? The whole chorus is done like that. You know what I mean? And is there an influence there? Like, did you catch some type of music? Did you, you know, because, you know, the Jamaican roots, though, but did you catch something, or is this like, this is just you practicing?
I put like this,
because, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of intersection or possibilities, you know, when I'm thinking about it, because you lived in London, you lived not just being Jamaican, but you were in a lot of places where the Jamaican community is actually thriving.
I feel like that just comes from, one, having swag with my shit. Like, you know, like, okay, I listen to a lot of rap, and how can I describe it? It's like really square. Like, if you can just think of the squarest box with the sharpest edges, that's what it sounds like. There's no feel to it. There's no like swing to it. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like heavy metal. You get what I'm saying? Where it's like, with me, I want my shit to be fly. You get what I'm saying? Like flowing. Like, think about like, all right, like, you ever seen it's funny that he put that shit in the movie clip. Like, you ever seen that movie, or like them videos with like players balls and shit, like how all the pimps come through and they be having like the fly ass walk. Like, that's how I want my raps to feel.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can go in battle and just sound mad savage, but then I could also just slide on a track. Like, like think about like Michael Jackson dancing. Like that's just, or like when you see like a basketball player doing mad handles and shit. Like that's just how I look at that on a song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and like that beat. Just felt like, you know what I'm saying, it just felt like a dance. You know what I'm saying? If I could just hear the beat going, I could just picture like somebody just doing like a fly ass dance to it. So when I just hopped on the track, was like, yo, I gotta just drip on this shit. I gotta just swag this shit out. You get what I'm saying? Because, and it didn't sound like nothing that Muggs ever done with anyone else before. You know what I'm saying? Like Muggs makes a lot of dark music. Like it's like a lot of like chamber, like, you know what I'm saying, type of shit. So this was like, this was just like some slidey shit. Like, I don't know.
A lot of people like this record because Muggs gives a lot of grooves, and people forget that Muggs, the whole Cypress Hill collection is grooves. They're Latino brothers though. Yeah. Be Real is Cuban. He has the groove. He's rhyming in that groove.
And then also, right, it's like with this underground shit, not saying that there's like, I don't want to say there's no soul to it, but like sometimes it's not like a lot of music that you can move to. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless if it's not mainstream shit, it's like I still want to make songs that will make you move. You listen to this lot of underground shit, you can sit there like that and just be like, alright. You just nod your head slow. Like I want shit that someone, even if you don't even listen to underground music, you could play this shit for your aunt and she be like, yo, this shit's hard. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I kind of want, like, I don't want to compromise my shit, but I just, like, want to make music that could live everywhere. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't listen to fucking underground shit, you could play that manuscript for somebody who listen to drill shit and be like, yo, this shit is hard. You could play it to a girl who only like R&B. It's like, you know what? I fuck with this. It just has a swing to it. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of want to make music like that. Like, I always try to have them type of songs on all my records. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, I want shit that everybody could like. I don't want to just make music specifically for this underground audience. You know, some niggas just make underground shit. And they do it deliberately. Like I want to make the music that I like to make, but I want everybody to be able to grasp it. You get what I'm saying? I don't want it to be just for this one fucking crowd, because at the end of the day, like it's universal. You get what I'm saying? Like it's for everybody at some point. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope because like this album, I felt like it kind of brought people in.
You know
what I'm saying?
Whatever groove, whatever melodic swoon you're in, every song has that intensity, the directness. This is a theme throughout your career. You know what I mean? My nigga, you should know it's never all love. Don't be naive. Everything comes with a price, so all of mine is something I need. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm gonna say that though when somebody's not paying me my.
And then
my
even
prices.
with that song, it was like, you know what? This is a song to show motherfuckers. The whole song, I didn't say nothing about drugs. There's nothing about drugs on the whole fucking song. That was like, you know what? I did that on purpose. Like, yo, let me slide on the shit in an ill ass way. You're gonna have ill ass metaphors, ill ass cadence, bars, but it's not gonna be no drug rap. Just to show y'all niggas. That's not all I rap about.
You know what I'm saying? What's interesting is that on the next song, High Explosive, right? You had a line that I was like, okay, because somebody might say that to you, and it could be offensive. Somebody saying it to you, but you said it about yourself. You said my lifestyle, wild, illegal / slightly woke, with a splash of punch. With a splash of punch you in your mouth fast, you know that's
just because it's a lot. I'm not one dimensional. You get what I'm saying? That's why, like, even I said we woke but still so rotten fruit and pursue the loot. Like I know what's right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. You get what I'm saying? Because nobody's perfect.
Absolutely, and you know, there was a line here too that is something people usually don't do. People usually describe themselves using two other things, but you describe the place, the survival, the environment that you end up being in. When you said somewhere in between a record contract and a Rikers cop, that's not describing Rome. That's describing Rome Street's experience.
Yeah, like somewhere in between a record contract and a writer's cop. Like, yo, bro, I'm like literally, I'm right here. Like, yo, bro, this one song could fucking put me there. But then, hey, this one phone call that I might take could put me on a Rikers cot too. But at the end of the day, I gotta do what I gotta do to survive because the music is not making me rich. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I'm trying to do. But at the end of the day, this is what I've been doing to be able to do this. Right. But I'm right here in the middle. I'm good enough to take it all the way there, but I'm involved enough to go there also. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's man, that's a stellar line. There's no way around that. You know what I mean? That's some high powered shit right there. And then the autobiographical details. Because I saw this somewhat too as like this is your chance to show and prove. You're like you're at the All-Star game. Though, you know what I mean? You're
pretty much.
And on Zigzag Zig, right? That's the Z in the Supreme alphabet. You define things, but in a broader way. But it's your life. You said black kids never had it easy, had the grind for this, but understand land is more important than designer shit. And that line's been really hitting you a lot because you're even quoting yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Because I seen that Mark Hamill shit. It was a typo. I fucking reread it. I'm like, damn, I didn't even write it correct. I didn't even know what the fuck I was saying. But like, that's just something that I just always had in my mind because it's like, just even so, like, just being an artist, sometimes you always gotta, like, stay fresh and all that shit. But then, like, it's sometimes like, yo, bro, that shit is really meaningless. It's really meaningless. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I wasn't an artist, I probably wouldn't even be buying half the clothes that I buy. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a bigger fucking picture at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's real because it's like people want to see new gear every video.
Yeah, but
and it takes me out. Like I remember when Fat Joe came out, he wore the same leather in like 5 videos.
People notice it though.
Yeah,
you understand? It could be negative. It could be positive. It could, cause sometimes like being an artist is like a marketing standpoint. It's like you want to have a thing or something about you that when people see it, they automatically like, okay, that's him. You get what I'm saying? So the black leather could just that's Fat Joe, but then it's like, this nigga wear that shit all the time. Like, yo, bro, I seen that shit. I remember they called DJ Clue like that, bro. I seen like somebody posted like 6 different pictures. Like, yo, Clue, you wore this fit to mad different places, yo. I'm like, but people notice that shit. But then in the end, it's really meaningless at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? Because on the flip side, they always want to see you in new shit. But when you pull the curtain back, if you got all this fly shit, but you ain't got a fucking mansion, then them same people that you was wearing that shit for was like, yo, what the fuck? You got all this fly shit, but look how you living. You understand? But on the flip side, if you don't always have the fly shit, but you living in an ill ass way, but you not showing motherfuckers, they be like, you a bum, son. You always got that fucking hoodie on. Because they don't see your house. You understand? So it's like you can't win for losing. So it's like, yo, understand land is more important than designer shit. But at the end of the day, it's like you still want to be fly, but be mindful. You know what I mean? Know when to cut that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it kill you.
Let's shift gears to another technical song, the shooting at the dance hall. I mean, that goes in line with the making a song that definitely grooves and Muggs hasn't really had people to give songs like that to.
Exactly.
But unless it was like one of the more Latino cuts on the Cypress Hill things, you know what I mean?
Look about this though. That's not even a give. That's a beat choice. Because that particular song that was out the batch was like, yeah, this one. You understand what I'm saying? I could have chose something. I could have not even rapped over that. He could have sent that to every rapper that he done an album with before me. And
right,
he's like, nah.
I can't.
You know what I'm saying?
That, yeah.
So it's like it's really just a beat choice. It's not really what he gave you. It's just like, yo, this is it right here. Cause I'm like, yo, he ain't never made a track like this. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I want to bring grooves. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like when I'm making this album. Like, yo, I don't want to do the normal shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? I want to hit motherfuckers with different grooves that Muggs never hit niggas with. But this is still my lane. You get what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter who would have made the beat. I would have rapped over that shit. You get what I'm saying? Because it's bringing more flavor to this underground shit. It's separating me. You get what I'm saying? Right. Whereas you could have put this beat and that beat and line up every underground artist that is in this shit. Majority of them motherfuckers would have stayed away from that and went to that. It's like, you know what? I'm going to bring a whole different groove here. Where it's like, you know what? This is what Rome Streetz bring to the table. Majority of niggas ain't doing this shit. And also, it's like, you know what? That's a song that females like. It doesn't have to be about, baby, I love you. But that's a girl song. A girl will dance her ass off to that shit. Every time I hear this song around females, they moving. Whereas, like, you know what? Make songs for the chicks. That's a song for the chicks. It may not be about, baby, I love you, but at the end of the day, she gonna be like, oh, that's fire right there. I love that. That's the one. Like, my cousin was in the studio. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because, like, this is my cousin's sister, so it's my cousin, but she don't always be around me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I haven't seen her as much. You get what I'm saying? She never even been to the studio with me ever. So one day she came to the studio in Cali, and we just playing songs, and she's like, this shit hard right here. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, once the girls love it, I'm good on that. I'm good. Cause these underground niggas don't make songs for chicks.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Majority of the fan base is a lot of men. So at the end of the day, if I could do something that draws the women in, that I could make a video and just, cause like my idea was, I had a whole idea for that. Because like, yo, we live in Brooklyn, bro. We know about them backyard parties, them Flatbush, you know what I mean, Jamaica shit with the jerk chicken, all that shit. Like, we all been there. That was the vibe I got for that. It's like, yo, Muggs doing the album with the New York nigga. I'm going to give you the New York vibes. I'm going to take you around the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, every song could probably feel like a different part of the city where I have you know what I mean, where I got roots in. Right, where, you know what I'm saying? It fits this particular part.
You know, that's what's interesting, because the videos you did were out there with the West Coast looking vibe, and it blended so well. You know what I mean? And I think that has a lot to do with Muggs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. But, that video was all his idea. You know what I'm saying? But you know what it is? It's a collab. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bring the rhymes. And it's like, yo, if you got ideas, I'm all for it, because it's your expertise. The bars is my expertise. Everything that's not bars is yours. So it's like, once you bring your expertise in it, I'm not going to cut you off, because, like, you know what? This is going to add something. This is going to, I brought this half, you bring this half, now we got a whole thing. You get what I'm saying? Instead of it just being all my idea. And it's just like,
indeed.
You know what I mean?
I guess, you know, one final question, thought, idea. There's so many great bars here. I'm going to throw some out, though. This is not the question, but I can't let it go. Fuck you know about me. The system racist. That ain't no new revelation. Crazy how mistakes gave me the best education. It's hard when you learn a real lesson from a fake friend. I mean, these are jewels, though. These are jewels. But, you know, one of the things, people haven't really asked you about, I forget which song. There's a song that goes with it, with the intro, the 6 Cups. And there's a song that really fires into that concept about the stay dangerous thing.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean? You talking about Devil's Chord?
Yeah. And tell me about that concept. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like I said, right? It's not whether you're in the street. Like, if I teach young brothers, and a lot of them, they're not all criminals. Some of them are, some of them were. You know what I mean? But we're teaching our people to survive.
Yeah, it's survival.
And we're teaching them to be warriors, though. So we're teaching them how to train themselves. And I teach them like they live in the martial world. Yeah, because the one thing I can say is that a lot of street crime happens. The victims of street crime, majority of the time, aren't people who are involved in the street. You get what I'm saying? They're like civilians and shit. People who get mugged and all that type of shit, they're regular people who go into work, living a regular square life. But at the end of the day, if those people don't have some type of survival tactics, they're just going to be food at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody in this world can't be food. If you could save somebody, you understand? So you don't actually have to be a street person to, like,
interpret this shit. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because regardless or not, once you walk out your door, you in the street. And you susceptible to all that shit. Mm-hmm. You could never have a gun in your life, seen a gun, but you could get shot out here. You understand what I'm saying?
Indeed,
you could be the most religious person, the most nicest, loving person. You can still get shot out here in the street. So you have to have some type of survival tactic.
Indeed.
And then in today's day and age where everybody has a mask, it's like you could be standing on the street and somebody walk right up to you, be like, yo, what up? Like, and then like, well, like, yo, take the fucking mask off. I don't know you. Like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah. People be forgetting that their whole face is covered and they walk right up on you, and then they shocked by your reaction, like, bro. So it's like you gotta have that, like, because that's the guys nowadays. People are able to catch their victim easier now because everyone has a fucking mask on. So it's more dangerous out here.
Right,
so that's kind of why I said that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real.
Well, a powerful album, an all-time album, Rome Streetz. All-time album. Death and the Magician, all-time album. If you're a collector, you gotta have this album, though. You know what I mean? And, you know, I could say which Rome Streetz albums to buy, but I've been saying you got to buy them all since Street Pharmacy. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not a real collector if you don't have all of them, though. I don't see a difference, you know? But this one's special. You know what I mean? This one's special because you got the ball in the fourth quarter and you scored. You know what I mean? Like, you scored and you showed everybody what Rome Streetz is about. And just honored to have you here again. Continue the documentation of such a great record. You know what I mean? You know, any last words?
I love doing interviews. I'm not gonna when like shit like this, I'd be like, I don't even want this shit to end. But last words, I would say, you know, I appreciate everybody that's been tapping in. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody that's gonna tap in. Damn, there's one thing that I wanted to say that I didn't catch. Where you was like, oh, how like we treat the music like it's selling drugs. It really is like that at the end of the day. Like, you have a product, people want it, it's a demand for it, and you have to put a price on it at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? And like, just the business model, everything
with it being so independent, it's even more like that.
And like, just everything from the business model. Like, let's say you're creating your own records to sell. They cost a certain amount, so you got to pay a certain amount, and then you have to sell them for a certain amount to be able to make your bread. So if you know about the streets, it's literally the same thing. It's just a different product that you're selling. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I look at it like that, and then I just throw my own little metaphors in it. So that's why I, you know what I mean, put it together like that. But it really is, you know what I'm saying? So I just, you know what I mean, I appreciate everybody that fuck with it.
And the thing is, though, us listeners are treated better than the custies because there are no fortune cookies inside the vials. You know
what you're getting, man.
At least we get jewels in the record.
Yeah, man. You know you getting some shit. You know? With me, at least.
I'm sure, you know, most drug dealers aren't giving advice when they give out that vial.
Yeah.
You know?
They want you to come back. They don't keep you stupid.
But yo, Rome Streetz, incredible album.
Go
to soulassassins.com. Go to Rome Streetz, you know, Bandcamp.
Yeah. Look, we got the website coming real soon.
And the website coming soon. Fat Beats has it, right? Fat Beats has it. So you get the vinyl, you get the CD. There's many versions of the CD too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's only actually one available right now. I think all the rest of them are sold out.
So we're too late with that. But definitely give this a listen. Go on YouTube. Watch the Death and the Magician film.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's great. These are great videos. Gritty. Everything you love about Muggs, everything that you love about Rome Streetz has been merged together perfectly. And with that, how could that be anything less than, you know, near classic? You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say near classic because I like to give things time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, classic is about time. That's why I don't even say my own shit is a classic. I'd rather just let the people tell it.
But you know, pretty soon. So, with that said, there'll be a lot more stories to tell. Records to rewind and reminisce, and a lot writings to recite. I'm your host, Sunya Zla, a.k.a. Skillustrator Low. Peace to my guest, Rome Streetz, and as always, the Power Right Show is a never respect fake broadcast. Peace.